Hello and welcome. I'm Pauline Pollard, the founder of the Confident Connected Child program. And it's such a wonderful delight to have you all here on this masterclass today. For those of you who are live and for those of you who will be watching the replay, you will get so much information out of this. So hopefully you've got a notepad and pen ready, because this hour is jam-packed full of information. Now, I shall be sharing my screen with you, which I'll do now. I have a lot of slides to make it easier for you to take in the information. So I'm just going to share my screen with the slides. Okay. So today's masterclass is Raising Confident Connected Children. 7 essential tools and techniques every parent and teacher should use to reduce anxiety and boost confidence and resilience in your child. So thank you all for being here today. This means a lot, because you're here to create change for your children, to learn different techniques, different concepts, different ways of thinking about how we can parent our children, and also for kids who may be suffering with anxiety, self-doubt and overwhelm. You will receive so much information from this masterclass. So just to give you a little bit of information about me, who I am, some of you know me already and know my background, but for those of you who don't, I'll give you a quick overview. So I'm a mum of 2 children. My daughter, India, she's 12 years old, and my son, Taj, is 14. Although he's just had his birthday, so he's 15 now. And so I know firsthand the challenges of parenting primary school age children and secondary school age children, and children going into their teens as well. So I know exactly what you're going through and what you've been through as well. I'm also a certified child self-esteem coach, and my background is actually in nursing. So I was a registered nurse, accredited diabetes educator, and so I have this education background. So I've always worked with adults and children who are experiencing major challenges in their life due to their health, and how I've been able to work with them and their loved ones to reduce their stress and overwhelm at a very vulnerable time in their lives. So my approach has always been to educate people about their bodies and what is going on for them first, because education is all about bringing a new awareness to an issue. And once people can understand what's actually going on in their body, that in itself will help to reduce the anxiety around what's going on. It's usually when people don't know or don't understand what is actually happening that creates this stress and overwhelm within their bodies. So I've been a speaker of mindfulness summits and been on various different podcasts as well. And as a child self-esteem coach, my work is predominantly with children and parents who are struggling with anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. And so you're in the right place. You have a strong feeling that there is more you could be doing to support your child. You might be second guessing your parenting decisions and wondering if what you're doing to try and support your child is helping or hindering them. You may be worried about your child, whether they're coping with challenges well. They might have negative self-talk. They might be lack of motivation, lack of trying new things. And you want more for your child, rather than just seeing them doing okay, but you're unsure what it is that you could be offering them. Or you may be a teacher listening to this masterclass because you want to learn effective stress management tools and techniques to use every day in the classroom, which is wonderful, because the tools and techniques that I will be educating you about today will really support your students and your children to learn more and feel more confident in the classroom. Now, since we only have a short time together today, I'll be moving pretty quickly to try and cover all the the content or the pieces that I want to give to you today. We will dive really deep, and I'll be giving you so much really powerful content. So if you can walk away with these new concepts and techniques to implement straight away with your children. So firstly, if you could collect a notepad and pen, that would be great for yourself. Yes, you'll be getting the replay, so you can also go through the content that I'll be sending out then. But also, if you could eliminate distractions, so maybe close down any programs that might distract you, or turn your phone onto silent would be really good, because this is your time. This is a special time for you to get as much information and benefit for yourself and for your child. So I created this masterclass because we're being bombarded with statistics about what's going on for our children who are suffering. There's so many more children that are suffering these days from the symptoms of anxiety. And I felt that I really needed to get my message out about the way that I perceive anxiety, something different to how anxiety has been dealt with in the past. So the stats are, in Australia, 1 in 14 children suffer with anxiety between the ages of 4 to 17 years old. And the ongoing question is, what can we do to fix this? And I see the biggest issue is that society perceives anxiety as a weakness, and that there is something wrong with our children that needs fixing. And I don't agree with that at all. I feel that this approach is actually exacerbating and making the issue worse. When we keep looking at the problem and what the problem is, our entire focus is on the problem. And so rather than battling anxiety and trying to conquer anxiety, I suggest a different way to look at it and approach it. It's not until we are able to take a step back from the problem and decide to look for solutions, we then begin to see this issue from a different angle or a new perspective. And that is what I'll be doing for you today. I wish to pull back that curtain, that mystery of anxiety, and for you to see it for what it really is. And so the question is, we'll move into the first topic. The question is, what is anxiety? So the symptoms associated with anxiety are the way your child's body is communicating that your child is out of energetic alignment and that they've lost the connection with what is really important to them. So anxiety is actually a sign to course correct. It's not a weakness at all. It's really just like a compass, letting your child and letting you know what direction you're actually heading in. So let me explain this a little bit more. Your child's nervous system is made up of many energy processes, and ongoing stress and anxiety can disturb these processes and create imbalances in the body. And so if you learned different ways your child could process this energy in their bodies, you would not only reduce their anxiety, but also be giving them lifelong skills they can use anytime. So firstly, you need to understand what is happening in your child's body when they are anxious. Now that's the nurse in me. So I will be doing this today. I'll be educating you just very briefly. I'm not going into a lot of detail, so I'm not going to freak you out. It'll be just giving you an understanding of what's going on in your child's body. And you can communicate this to your child. It doesn't matter whether your child is, you know, 3 or 4 years old, 7 or 8 years old, 15 or 16 years old. It doesn't matter. You know their capabilities, and you know a way that you'll be able to communicate this message to them. And then what I'll be doing is implement easy coping strategies to reduce anxiety and empower children to have their own techniques to use during challenging times that calm and reconnect them, which is really empowering. And I'll also be demystifying anxiety for you and your child and pulling back that curtain to reveal what is actually going on in the body and up-leveling you to a new awareness around anxiety. But first, I'd like to explain point number 2. how stress can actually be a positive catalyst for change. So a little bit of stress can actually be a good thing for your child. Now, the stress that I'm talking about is the stress or nervous energy your child may feel before a big event or when they are trying something new. It's not really stress, but so many children will say, oh, I'm feeling really stressed, I'm feeling really stressed. And so the reason why they're saying this is because they're actually stepping out of their comfort zone. And we all know that our comfort zone is what is familiar to us. So it's normal for us to be in that comfort zone and we feel quite happy there. But once we start to stretch out of our comfort zone, we're starting to step into that unfamiliar zone. So it's absolutely normal for us to feel a little bit of that nervous energy because it's unfamiliar to us. We've never tried it before. And like I said, it's more of a nervous energy where your child, they might feel butterflies in their stomach, they might feel their heart beating quite rapidly through their body, they might get sweating palms as well. And now this is really good because it's the type of energy that is on the edge of excitement. Now excitement is such a powerful, powerful energy. It's a moving energy and it gives momentum and motivation. And so I see this stress, which is really nervous energy, as a containable nervous energy, which usually dissipates as soon as your child starts the activity. So this type of stress can help to improve performance, and it can also be a really motivating factor to help children to rise to the challenge and actually perform at a really high level. It's an exciting and powerful energy, and it's a really focused energy. But like I said, once your child takes action, it starts to move and it becomes an exciting, uplifting energy. So now I'm going to explain, so what does this really good stress energy look like in your child's body? Now, what it is, we have with our nervous system, we have the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And in a healthy body, this nervous system functions in perfect balance and harmony, where the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming nervous system in our body, is on for most of the day. And that's how we need to perform for most of the day, in this calming energy. And then during times of stress, the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight and flight nervous system, will kick in. And it'll kick in just for that amount of time that you need. And then once the emergency is over, the sympathetic nervous system, so the fight and flight nervous system, will turn off. So this nervous energy is just the sympathetic nervous system giving your child a little bit of a boost before they step out of their comfort zone. So rather than choosing the words stress or nervous with your child in these situations, it would be really great if you could guide your child to choose the word excitement. And this will really help with motivating them. So let's create this new intention that when your child is feeling nervous about trying something new or doing something new, have them say, I'm feeling excited about this new challenge. And on the screen now, I've got two different things that you could say. And please take these down and use them with your child. Have them say, I feel so excited about giving this presentation. I have studied hard and I know I will perform really well. Or, I feel so excited about this soccer match. I have trained hard and I feel ready to perform at my best. Can you feel the shift in energy rather than your child sitting there going, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous and I'm not sure if I'm going to do well and I'm not sure if I'm going to perform well. Instead, we're going to be programming them to feel the excitement, to feel into that beautiful, exciting energy, which will really motivate them. So along with these great intentions, you want your child to know how to calm their nervous system down as needed. The solution is to teach your child or students in the classroom the tools and techniques that allow them to switch off the fight and flight when it's not needed and to switch on the calming nervous system. And one of these techniques is the breath. The breath is such a powerful, powerful technique. And I feel that these days it's a little bit underestimated because we're breathing every day. But believe me, most of the time we're not breathing correctly. And there's also something that I'd like to communicate to you that you probably don't know about the breath. Now, we've always been told that when we're feeling stressed to take a deep breath. But do you know why we're being told to take a deep breath? I'm going to explain that to you now. When you are stressed, our breathing tends to go into a very shallow breath. And so at the bottom of our lungs, if you can just imagine, there are receptors at the bottom of our lungs. And these receptors are to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming nervous system. And that can only be stimulated when we actually take a deep breath in and fill our lungs up with air, that it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system to switch on and calm us down, which is so amazing that our breath can actually stimulate our nervous system. And the other way as well is when children are really upset and they're taking those short, shallow breaths, what happens is that they are stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. So at the top of our lungs, we have receptors that stimulate the emergency fight and flight. And so we want our children to be able to take a deep breath in to switch the nervous system from fight and flight into the calming nervous system. So that is the first thing that I wanted you to understand, which is really, really important. You're probably taking some deep breaths now. I feel like I need to as well. I'm breathing in deeply here. But a technique that is really, really great, and I'm just going to open up my screen so that you can share, is the long exhalation breath. Now, this breathing will help with your child when they have a lot of mind chatter. And what this breath does, it helps to interrupt the old patterning. And so the long exhalation is you breathe in for 4 counts and then you exhale for 8 counts. And what it does is it interrupts this patterning and gives your child who has a lot of mind chatter, it gives them the opportunity to switch from thinking about all this mind chatter to just focus on the counting. And this is really important because it gives your child something else to focus on rather than focusing on what's going wrong in their life or what's happening that they're really nervous about or really upset about. And so how we do this, if you want to do this with me now, is you inhale for 4 counts. So let's sit quietly. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. And you're probably feeling a lot calmer now and feeling that beautiful energy circulating in your body. Now let's move on to number 3. How ongoing stress and anxiety and overwhelm affects your child at school. Now, the problem arises when stress becomes an ongoing issue and quite easily escalates to anxiety. The wonderful harmony and balance of the nervous system becomes unbalanced when the sympathetic nervous system turns on, but doesn't know when to turn off, keeping your child in this ongoing fight and flight mode. And one of the main things that can impact your child's anxiety levels are negative beliefs that they hold about themselves in their subconscious mind. Now, these beliefs can be formed at a really young age when your child may have had a difficult experience or they've perceived a negative experience in their life and where they haven't been able to process their emotions properly. And what happens is it creates an emotional charge and causes your child to assume beliefs that they are not good enough and that they may not be able to do this as well as everyone else. And this is when anxiety can have a real debilitating effect on your child's ability to perform well at school, especially with this negative mind chatter going on. When I work with children and teenagers, this is one of the first issues I address, because if your child has beliefs that they're not good enough or I can never get it right, then it doesn't matter what else you try. All the positive affirmations in the world will not resolve this. If they have an underlying negative belief, it must be shifted first before anything else will work. And in my practice, I actually use the technique, emotional freedom technique, which sometimes is called EFT or tapping, or energy psychology is another name. And I'll actually speak about EFT a little bit later on in this masterclass. For now, I'd just like to move on. So let me explain how this anxiety affects your child's performance at school. Anxiety and overwhelm will affect their performance by decreasing their focus and concentration, their problem-solving skills. It affects their ability to make good decisions. It affects their ability to persevere at tasks, and you might find that your child just gives up too quickly. It affects their ability to retain information, so their memory and being able to remember what has been taught in the class, their critical thinking skills, and also decreases their good judgment skills. So maybe with teenagers, you might see this with, you sort of think, well, what were you thinking when you actually did that or thought that that was a good idea? So their judgment skills are also affected with anxiety. And these are all skills your child needs to fulfill their potential at school and in life in general, and to deal with life's challenges in an empowered way. So if your child is starting their day worried, overwhelmed and anxious before they even walk out the door to go to school, then the poor little darlings will not be able to function or work to their full capacity at school. And here is why. When your child is suffering from anxiety and overwhelm, their body has switched over into the fight and flight response. So I will now show you what happens in your child's body that compromises their ability to learn and retain information at school. So most of the day, your child's body is in that balance and harmony that I referred to earlier on, with the parasympathetic, the calming and resting nervous system switched on for most of the time. And now located at the front of your brain is the prefrontal cortex. Now this prefrontal cortex has an extremely important job to do. What it does is it helps with good problem solving, it helps with the critical thinking, it helps with good attention span and judgment and memory, perseverance, all the things that are needed for your child to perform well at school. And so when your child is feeling stressed or anxious at school, the fight and flight response will be switched on. And so what happens is blood leaves the prefrontal cortex of the brain and travels from the brain to the extremities. And also hormones like cortisol, adrenaline and norepinephrine are released as well. But in this constant high state of alert, the prefrontal cortex cannot do its job properly because the blood supply is diminished to this part of the brain. And if your child starts their day stressed, they will not be able to perform at their full capacity. So it results in them inability to think clearly, easily distracted at school, or they may be distracting other kids in the class as well. they're feeling overwhelmed, their mind they can't think clearly, feeling stressed and reactive, uncertain and indecisive, unable to focus or concentrate, decreased attention span, feeling unmotivated, feeling tired and fatigued all the time. And so there are many things going on for your child if the prefrontal cortex is compromised. So the solution here is to use techniques that will bring blood and energy back into the prefrontal cortex. And I have one technique just for you right now. Now, unfortunately, I can't seem to be able to share my screen with me on it, but I will guide you through this technique. It's called the neurovascular hold. So on our forehead, we have neurovascular points. So if you can just take your hands, your fingertips to the top of your forehead, just above your eyebrows, and place fingertips of both hands either side of your forehead, just above your eyebrows. And what you're doing here is your hands actually have electromagnetic energy flowing through them. And by placing your fingertips on your forehead, you are bringing the blood back to the front of the brain and energy back to the front of the brain, which is now feeding the prefrontal cortex. And so this really helps during a very stressful time for you or your child. Place your fingertips here and take some slow, deep breaths in and out. Now, the wonderful thing about this technique is you do not have to think happy thoughts or good thoughts. In fact, it's actually better for you to think about the stress that you're going through, whatever it was that has upset you and created overwhelm in your life. Think about it while you hold these neurovascular points. And this is really key because it will help to rewire your brain to respond to stress in a different way. And you may even feel a little bit of a pulsation in your fingertips, which is great. It's bringing that blood and that energy back into the prefrontal cortex. Now, you can do this for little children, for younger children. Explain this to them and what it's all about when you're in a happy moment with them, so that if they're having an emotional meltdown, they can give you permission to hold these points for them. And, you know, you can sit little children in your knee and then hold the points on their forehead for them, which will help to release that emotional energy so much quicker. And it also helps them feel safe as well. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful technique and does so many wonderful things. So, as I said, it's going to be a fast pace today because I want to get as much information to you as possible. So, number 4, the 3 important energy processes that must happen in your child's body for optimal learning. Okay, now this is really powerful because this is one of the key reasons why other things that you may have tried to reduce your child's anxiety have only worked short term. Ongoing stress creates an energetic imbalance in your child's body where their nervous system is in survival mode, decreasing your child's ability to focus, concentrate, and learn, which we just learnt that the prefrontal cortex can't do its job properly. And also when your child is constantly stressed, then 3 important energy processes are affected which impact their learning capabilities. Now, these 3 energy processes are, number 1, your child's energy will no longer cross over in their body. And this will result in lack of focus and concentration, lack of balance and coordination. Number 2 is your child's energy will actually flip backwards, resulting in your child feeling fatigued all the time and having lack of motivation. And number 3 is their energy becomes ungrounded. And this results in the constant mind chatter, being indecisive, possibly being disruptive behaviour in the class, lack of focus and clarity. Now, I'll give you a little bit more detail on these really important processes because they are the key reasons why your child is stuck in anxiety and why everything else is not working. So, starting with energy crossing over. When your child's body is happy and healthy, their energy is actually crossing over in their body. The left hemisphere of the brain coordinates and sends information to the right side of the body, and the right hemisphere of your brain coordinates and sends information to the left side of your body. This stimulates both hemispheres of the brain to work together efficiently. So it's really important that your child's energy is crossing over in their body efficiently to ensure that they're using the full capacity of their brain. They will then have greater focus and concentration. Now, the problem occurs when your child's energy becomes what we call homolateral. And so this is when your child's energy no longer is crossing over, but instead the energy is flowing straight up and down their body. And when this happens, your child just won't feel like themselves. They'll start to react to every little thing, leading to feeling more overwhelmed, and most of the time. And this then leads to their feelings of anxiety exacerbating. They won't be able to think clearly. They have low energy, feeling fuzzy and lost, ongoing sickness possibly, and lack of balance and coordination. Now, a wonderful technique that you can use to help to get that energy crossing over again is what I call the shoulder pull technique. Now, unfortunately, my video is not working properly today, but I'll try and explain it to you so that you can understand. So what I want you to do is you can do this sitting down, or it's even better if you're standing up, but that's okay. I want you to place your left hand on your right shoulder. I want you to inhale, squeeze your shoulder, and then as you exhale, you're going to drag your left hand across your chest, across your body, and off the opposite hip. Okay, and then you're going to place your right hand on your left shoulder. Inhale. Just give that shoulder a little bit of a squeeze, and as you exhale, you're going to drag your right hand across your chest, remaining in contact with your body, and off the right hip. And you want to do this on both sides about 4 rounds, and this will help to get the energy crossing over in your child's body. When I'm working one-on-one with my clients, there's quite a few different techniques that I use to cross energy over. Now, I've just got a case study here for you. One of my clients was an 8-year-old girl who had been diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia. And using these energy techniques, particularly the many techniques that cross over energy, was so beneficial for her, for Isla. Her body had actually assumed this homolateral way, so where the energy wasn't crossing over, her body had assumed this as the new familiar way for her body to function. And so it took some time to re-establish the crossing over of energy in her body over a period of a couple of weeks. But as this improved, so did her reading and writing. Oops. So this is some of what her mum had to say about working with me. My daughter has a diagnosis of dyslexia and ADHD, and her biggest issues were difficulty focusing in the classroom, short attention span, difficulties with friendships, feeling left out from different circles of friends, regular emotional outbursts, struggling with reading. There have been so many benefits since working with Pauline. Isla is able to calm herself when feeling triggered. She has had many challenges in the past with not understanding the work at school and with what is expected of her in the classroom environment. Now she's enthusiastic about going to school and demonstrating more confidence with her schoolwork and with her own personal abilities in class, and her reading has improved. She is less reactive to her teacher's expectations and can actually take herself away from a stressful situation and calm herself and re-regulate. It's marvellous for everyone. So let's now move on to number 2, which is energy flowing forward. Now, when your child is happy and healthy and the energy is moving in a forward motion of flow and balance, and when your child becomes tired, stressed and overwhelmed, the energy flow through the meridians actually flips over and goes backwards. Like a switch in the power board of your home, that switches off to protect your home's electrical circuit from overload. This is what happens when your child's meridians switch over. This is a valuable signal to your child's body that they need to rest. However, when your child is really stressed and their energy has flipped backwards, then when they actually go to do things like walking forward, running or swimming, all the things that we know are normally good for our children, this will actually drain their energy because they are moving forward against the flow of the energy that's flipped backwards because of the stress and overwhelm. So what we need to do is break the circuit of feeling the fatigue and energy flowing backwards. And what this looks like, they will feel fatigued at school, or they will feel really unmotivated to try new things, to try new challenges. And so a very simple and powerful technique is called the K27 tapping point. And this technique will actually get your child's energy to flow forward in the forward motion, how it should be flowing again. So like I mentioned, when your child is feeling stressed and overwhelmed, this affects this energy system and their energy will flip backwards. And that's why they're feeling, you'll probably find that your child is feeling really fatigued and has this lack of energy. So we want to get our energy switched back over, and a really, really simple technique, one technique that I use every day on myself throughout the day, is the K27 tapping point. Now, normally I would put my screen on, but I'm sorry that the video is not quite working today, but I will guide you. It's very easy. So I want you to take both your hands and place them either side on your collarbone. Now I want you to move your hands inwards along your collarbone, and you'll feel the notch right either side, the end of your collarbone, just either side of your collarbone. And then what I want you to do is then drop down from there, and you'll feel a space, and that's where I want you to tap. Now this is called the K27 tapping point, which is actually the end point of your kidney meridian. And this is an amazing tapping point. It feels fantastic. I use it throughout the day. Now, while you tap here, you want to breathe, take some deep, slow, deep breaths. I even tap here when I'm driving. Not actually when I'm driving, but when I'm at the red light, I'll sit while I'm waiting for the red light to turn green and tap on these tapping points and just take some deep breaths. It really energizes you and helps you to feel really motivated and to think clearly as well. Now, a wonderful quote from Dr. David Feinstein is, when your child walks, swims or runs and their energy is crossing over and their energy is flowing in a forward motion, it is like massaging all the energy centers in their body. The meridians are flowing and coordinated with the movement of the muscles. And as you can see, this technique is brilliant for children who are in sport as well. My son uses this technique, tapping on the K27 and crossing his energy. He's a mountain bike rider, so he really needs to be on his game with focus and concentration and with balance and coordination. And so these energy techniques my children do every day as a routine before they walk out the door to go to school. So it's really simple, but really powerful, powerful stuff. Now, moving on to number 3 is grounding your energy. So one of the biggest issues which ungrounds a child's energy is worry. When your child is constantly worried, they are basically scattering their own energy. And what this looks like is your child is giving their focus and attention to 101 different things. They're worried about something that's happened in the past, and they're worried that it's going to happen again, or they're worried about future events that, might go wrong. This monkey mind jumps around from one topic to the next, full of worry, and their anxiety increases because there's no way a solution can be met under these conditions. Staying in the energy of the problem creates more problems. And this is tiring and really exhausting for your child. And this is what ungrounded energy looks like. So all this worry and confusion causes their energy that they have within them to literally leak out of them. So if your child is not anchored and grounded in their own energy and in their own body, it is so easy for them to be continually swept up in the chaos that's whizzing around them, all the dramas at school, or they see things on the news that's doom and gloom, and they pull that into their energy field, and it exacerbates their anxiety as well. And the best way to ease their anxiety and stay anchored in their own energy is to ground their energy. Now, there are many different techniques you can use to ground your own energy, which are really simple and fun to use. And I introduce these to my one-to-one clients. But today, let's look at grounding our energy by just simply stepping outside and embracing Mother Earth's energy. When your child's energy is grounded, they feel strong, they feel supported, and they are living in the present moment. They have a positive outlook on life, and it builds up their resilience. So grounding is all about being able to pull their energy back to them and becoming present in the moment. It stops thoughts of past and the future, and they can create from this point of now, this present moment. Now, it's interesting, at the bottom of your child's feet, or all of us at the bottom of our feet, are energy centers that connect to the earth's energy, and then enables them, when we're walking barefoot, whether it be on the ground or at the beach, it actually draws in these energy centers. When they're clear, they actually draw in the beautiful supportive energy of Mother Earth. But what can happen, sometimes this connection can be blocked. So it can get blocked by being stressed and overwhelmed. And when blocked, your child may feel anxious and lightheaded. They have that scattered, stuck energy. They may feel really drained of energy. They have trouble listening, learning, and focusing, and they feel unsupported. When your child's energy is grounded, it allows the energy of their body to interact with the energies of the earth that enhances their energetic system. So if they are feeling upset, they are then able to release this excess negative energy into the earth. Now, one of my clients, so it's really important to get out into nature. And one of my clients, Jack, who is a 12-year-old boy, and he's really sensitive to the energy around him. He knew when people were really upset, and he could feel their energy. And he's a really compassionate little boy, and he would actually end up taking on a lot of people's energy. So a lot of sensitive children like Jack will pick up on other people's energy around them. And what can happen is they start to feel this sadness, this upset, this frustration for no particular reason. And anyway, this happened a lot to Jack, and one of the best ways he found to release this energy was to walk barefoot on the sand along the beach and deep breathe. And what he found, by the time he'd finished walking the length of the beach, he felt so much happier and more relaxed, and he was able to release his frustration and receive solutions to problems that he may have had. So it was really a wonderful way for this young boy, for Jack, to be able to really ground his energy and help to release any old negative energy that may have been trapped in his body. One of my teachers, Emmanuel Dager, is told this story. He's actually a medium. He's a psychic. He can see our energy field. He can see our auras. And he was talking about this particular day when he was in the playground, and he was watching the children play, and he was watching the parents stand around while the children were playing. And what he could see was the children were laughing and having a really fun time. And he could actually see the energy of these children, their energy around them, their aura around them. But he could also see their connection with Mother Earth, because their energy actually went, he could see it going through the soles of their feet and actually connecting with Mother Earth. And these kids were having an absolute ball. They were living in the present moment, laughing, playing, really having a great time. And then he looked at the parents, and he could see the energy field around the parents, but he could also see that there was no energy that was connecting into Mother Earth. which was really interesting because, you know, obviously the parents were maybe not living in that present moment and they were thinking about other things that were going on, had other worries that were going on. So it is really powerful, the connection that we have with Mother Earth. And what I do with my children is when we go outside and we're walking at the beach or we're walking through a beautiful bush track, just in the moment for 30 seconds, get them to focus on their 5 senses. Get them to smell and hear, and what do they see, and even what do you taste, because that's where they can use their creativity to imagine what would it taste like being out in the bush, what would it taste like being at the beach, what would it taste like being in the mountains. It's something different. And by connecting to all the 5 senses, your child is then brought into the present moment where they can just feel that happiness and joy in the moment. So number 5, moving on to number 5, how your body communicates through your emotions. Now, when your child is feeling anxious and overwhelmed, it is an automatic reaction for us as parents to say, calm down and you'll be fine, don't worry about it. However, this is probably one of the worst things you could say to them, even though your comment is well intended. This comment can make your child feel even more misunderstood and frustrated because, number 1, they actually don't know how to calm themselves down. And number 2, because they don't know what is actually going on within their own body themselves. They don't understand what emotions are, and they can become fearful that there is really something wrong with them. But if your child could understand what emotions are, plus know techniques to calm their body when they feel triggered, this would be really, really empowering for them. Now, I will explain that now, what emotions are. So I'm just going to take a drink. So let's think about emotions. Can you see emotions? No, you can only feel the emotions. And when you're feeling your emotions, you're actually feeling the energy in your body. Emotions are energy. Emotion, which is energy in motion, which means our emotions are meant to flow through our body. Regardless of whether that emotion is sadness or anger, happiness or joy, it's just energy that is vibrating at different frequencies. So emotions are not good or bad, they are just energy in motion, and this energy is meant to flow through your body. So I want to do a little task with you. Just for a moment, put your pen down and just close your eyes, please. And take a deep breath in and exhale. Now, I want you to connect with the energy of sadness. I want you to feel in your body. Now, we won't do this for very long because I don't want you to feel sad for the rest of the masterclass, but just do this with me. Just feel into sadness. Have your eyes closed, focus within your body and feel into sadness. What does sadness feel like in your body? Just feel, what does sadness feel like in your body? And generally what people say is sadness feels heavy. Sadness feels really dark and gloomy, and it feels really restrictive. Okay, and you can't take a deep breath in. Your breathing is shallow. Now just stay with me. We're going to move on from sadness now. What I want you to feel, keep your eyes closed and feel within your body, what does happiness feel like? Think of something that's happened just recently that made you feel happy. Okay, so feel the feelings of happiness in your body. What does it feel like? And generally people will say that happiness feels expansive. Happiness feels warm and tingling. It feels really uplifting. So just in this moment, you can open your eyes now. And just in that moment, you've been able to connect with 2 different feelings, sadness and happiness. and they feel very, very different in the body. So your emotions are how your body is actually communicating to you. When you are out of energetic alignment, you are feeling anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety. And when you are in alignment with your truth and passion, you are feeling happiness, joy, and appreciation. Your body is always communicating to you. You can't see the emotion, but you can definitely feel it, which we just demonstrated then. You know the feeling of sadness and overwhelm, and you also know the feeling of happiness and joy. They feel very different, and they affect your body very differently as well. Your thoughts and your words create an emotional charge in your body, which then becomes your energetic frequency. So if you are thinking of happy things like going to the beach and catching up with your friends, then you feel happy. If you think about the person who pushed in front of you at the shopping centre and stepped on your foot, you'll feel sad, or you maybe even feel angry. So the solution is acknowledge your child's emotions and what they are really feeling. Don't try and brush off what they are feeling inside. So when your child is feeling really upset, say to them, you look like you're upset, you look like you're angry, you look like you're feeling frustrated. Validate their emotions rather than saying, oh, it'll be okay, you'll get over it quickly. When you validate the emotions, your child feels seen, heard, and acknowledged, and that is so important. They need to feel safe when they're feeling vulnerable, when they're feeling upset. So we need to understand emotions and what they are and how your child can process them. Now, a great technique that I use with my one-to-one clients is releasing emotions technique. So firstly, you want to get in contact with the emotion you are feeling. So I talk this through with my clients, and you can do this with your children, okay? So take this away with you today. So when your child is feeling upset, you want them to get in contact. So what are they feeling? Ask them what they're feeling, whether it's sadness, whether it's anger, frustration, overwhelm, whatever it might be. And then the second step you want to do is give this emotion a colour and find out where it is located in their body. So what I'll get you to do now is, once again, close your eyes and take a deep breath in and exhale. Now, think of that time when you were feeling sad or angry. And what you want to do is give that sadness or that anger a colour. And you also want to locate it in your body. A lot of the time when you're feeling the sadness or anger, it may be in your gut, it may be in your chest, you may also feel it in your throat. But you want to guide your child to where that emotion is in their body. And if they say, like my daughter said to me, I don't know where it is, just give them a few suggestions. Just say, I think it might be in your chest, it might be in your chest area. Can you feel it? Then they'll go, yeah, I can feel the anger there. I can feel the anger. And then ask them to give it a colour. Generally, it'll be a black or a gloomy colour. And even ask them if they want to give it a shape. And then ask them to connect with where happiness is in their body. Okay? So I did this with my daughter, and she said, I can't find happiness in my body. And I said, really? Must be somewhere. Where do you think that you can find happiness? And so I just guided her. And in the end, she actually found happiness in her little finger, right at the tip of her little finger, which was really gorgeous. And so once they locate where happiness is and they give it a colour, she gave it the colour yellow, then I want you to then guide them to take a deep breath in and out. And as they inhale, that colour, that yellow colour of happiness is expanding and spreading through their body and traveling around the whole body, traveling all around their body, and it actually comes to the place where the sadness or anger is. And then they take a deep breath in, and as they breathe in, that happiness actually takes over the anger feeling. And then you say to them, what's going on? And my daughter said to me, oh, the yellow is just taking over from the red anger. And then breathe in this beautiful yellow all through their body. And that shifts their energy in an amazing way. So it's shifting their energy. It's getting them to deep breathe and the benefits of deep breathing that I mentioned earlier on in this masterclass. Plus, it's also helping them to feel into their own body and connect and communicate with their own body. Now, moving on to number 6. The key 4 elements that are essential to boost your child's self-esteem and confidence. So the first one is to raise your child's energy before they walk out the door. Number 2 is to maintain your child's energy during the challenges throughout their day. Number 3 is to cleanse your child's energy. And number 4 is to ignite your child's intuition, self-esteem, and confidence. Now I'll just go through these very quickly. So raising your child's energy before they walk out the door is so important. It's so important that they feel happy and motivated first thing in the morning. And this sets the tone for how the rest of the day will unfold for them. There are 2 main steps in this first process to raise your child's energy. The first one is clearing their limiting negative beliefs. And the second is energy medicine that creates a high vibration and those high vibrational feelings of happiness, joy, and excitement and motivation. Now, these first 2 steps of raising your child's energy are really laying down the foundations for the rest of the techniques that I introduce to become really powerful in their own right. If you don't have the solid foundations first, then everything else will only work short term. So the first step, clearing their negative beliefs. The first thing that must be addressed is your child's beliefs about themselves. You know that they have negative belief patterns running their lives by observing your child's behaviour as well as listening to how they speak about themselves. I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Everyone else can do it except me. I always get it wrong. This must be the first step in reducing anxiety and boosting self-esteem and confidence, because if your child has a subconscious belief about themselves that they are not enough, it will continue to sabotage anything else you try or do or say, because it will be in conflict with what they believe about themselves. Now, my choice of technique here is emotional freedom technique, tapping, or energy psychology. And in this masterclass, I really don't have enough time to go into detail about EFT. Maybe I could do another class focused on this, so let me know in the comments if that is something you would like. But I will give you some information you can take away today. Basically, EFT is a technique that combines ancient Chinese acupuncture and modern psychology. And we call it tapping because we are literally tapping on endpoints of the meridians of our body while saying certain statements. Now, research has shown that it works because when we tap on the endpoints of these meridians while focusing on the stressful situation or the challenge that's come up for our child, that we are sending a calming signal to the amygdala in the brain, which governs the fight and flight response. So this calms us by turning off the stress response and helps to rewire our brain and our body to respond to stress in a different way. It actually deactivates the emotional charge we have attached to the particular situation that upset us. It works brilliantly with children because it shifts their energy so quickly. You literally, with clients, I've literally seen them laughing. As they're tapping, they start getting giggly and start laughing before we've even finished the tapping session. It works amazing with children. And it worked fantastic for me with my son. He was a victim of bullying when he was 7 years old. And I used emotional freedom technique to help him. And I will actually tell his story. I'll do a session, another session on EFT, because it's a session in its own right. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the process that I went through with my son, which is a really, really interesting story. But we don't have time for that today, so I'll just keep moving. Now, Dr. Peter Stapleton, she has led the Australian research into emotional freedom technique, and there have been many studies done on emotional freedom technique from Harvard University. A 10-year study was done on decreasing cortisol in the body, which 1 hour of tapping, the stress hormone cortisol was reduced by 24%. It's been really effective for post-traumatic stress disorder in clients. And there's also been studies done on students and test anxiety, which is amazing. And these studies were done in Queensland as well as around the world. There's been many studies done. But Dr. Peter Stapleton did a wonderful study at Helensvale School in Queensland, and that really helped with the students with their test anxiety. Now I'll move on to step 2, which is energy medicine routine. And once you've cleared, so once we've done step 1 where we've cleared the negative beliefs, you want to fill your child up with positive, high vibration energy. And that is exactly what energy medicine does. It moves the energy. It uses techniques from ancient traditions like acupuncture, yoga, kinesiology, and qigong to assist your own body to rebalance its energy and flow back into harmony and balance again. And one of the ways you can lose this natural harmony and balance is stress and overwhelm. And this is where energy medicine will help with this energetic shift from the sadness and anger and overwhelm to feeling calm, happy, and motivated to move forward. Energy medicine will not only help you with your vitality and health, it helps your child to learn better. You can't learn if your brain isn't awake and alive and the energy flowing through it. So consistently working with your energy systems, you will automatically maintain this energetic balance. Now, my teacher, Donna Eden in America, her energy, this is a quote from her, that energy is your life force. It animates every muscle, cell, and molecule in your body. Energy medicine ministers to that life force. When your energies are flowing and in balance, you are healthy and feel good. You feel enthusiastic and excited about life. When your energy is blocked or not in harmony, you feel tired and vulnerable to depression, stress, and all kinds of illness. Energy medicine gives you tools to stay happy, healthy, and vital. So the 5-minute routine I introduce to my clients are a sequence of energy techniques that aligns your child's energy system, which in turn reduces the overwhelm and frustration. It reduces the symptoms of anxiety and stress, gives them more clarity and focus. You no longer feel triggered by people and events that used to cause you anxiety, feelings of calm and peace and clarity, feeling balanced and grounded. So this is a really, really powerful section, don't you think? And so you can see why I've put a lot of emphasis on the foundations for your child when I'm working with them. Now, the second approach is maintaining your energy during challenges. And this is where your child knows a few specific energy techniques that they can use anytime during their day when they feel triggered, such as when an exam is happening or they're giving a presentation. If they feel upset by a comment from a friend, they can use certain techniques in the moment to help switch their energy. And in these moments, they know how to self-regulate their emotions, and they have the various techniques and tools to deal with these challenges in the moment so that they're not having these roller coaster emotional rides that spill into major dramas. These techniques empower your child with the knowledge that they know what to do if their energy becomes low. Also, they know how to deal with emotional challenges when they feel they are getting emotionally triggered. Number 3 is to cleanse your child's energy. And this is about your child learning how to detox their own body of energy that they've collected throughout their day. It's like clearing and cleansing your own physical body. It's important to cleanse and clear your energetic and the negative energy that you may have picked up throughout the day. And when you do these simple techniques, it results in your child feeling relaxed, calm, and peaceful. And number 4 is igniting your child's intuition and boosting their confidence and self-esteem. So igniting your child's intuition is the key to building their self-worth. And this is when you get to see your child making decisions that are right for them rather than asking everyone else for advice or just following their peers. And this is also where they know their gifts and talents and the values they have to offer. Now, igniting your child's intuition and boosting their confidence and self-esteem process is number 4 for an important reason. Intuition cannot be accessed when you're feeling low energy emotions. So it's really important that your child knows how to shift and raise their energy vibration first. And then they have a clear pathway to know what and get in touch with what's important to them. They have they will feel a lot more worthy. They will feel able to tap into their desires and what's really passionate for them. So now I'm going to move on to how you can work with me. So from this masterclass, you have a good idea of how I work with my clients, and the 4 key processes that I've just spoken about are the step-by-step processes that I use with my one-to-one clients. And I've created it into a package because, as you can see, you need this sequenced step-by-step process in order to reach the transformation that you're looking for long-term. So there's no point in starting at key process number 3, where we instill positive affirmations before your child has cleared the negative beliefs that are sabotaging them from moving forward. And this is where you will only receive temporary results. What it looks like to work with me. There are different options I offer my clients in order to work with me, but my main package is my signature package, the Confident Connected Child, which includes an initial 60-minute review session where we go through a detailed questionnaire with you about what's going on for yourself, your child, and how the dynamic of the family is. And then you also receive 6 one-hour sessions with me. Plus, you also receive online support materials and access to education videos, really short 4 to 5 minute videos, guidebooks, demonstration videos on all the techniques that I use, and there's audios as well. I also offer email support for my clients as well in between sessions so that you feel that you're totally supported with what we do. So when a child feels in control of a situation, they automatically feel calmer, which then results in them being able to tap into their own true potential and truly shine their talents and abilities in their own unique way. And that's what working with me looks like. I offer several different ways you can work with me, but for today and the next few days, I'm offering $100 off the pay in full price for the Confident Connected Child program. So to book a session with me to discuss the various options, you can go to this link here. So if you want to take a screen capture or take a photo of this link, it's bit.ly/masterclass booking. And when you click on that link, when you pop that link into your browser, it'll open up to my calendar where you can book a 20-minute session with me for free, and we can then in that session discuss what would be the best option for you in order to work with me. So there you go. I really love, so I've opened up a few more sessions so that, and if you can't find an appointment that suits you because of your time zone or because you're working, just send me an email at pauline@paulinepollard.com and we'll work something out. So some of the questions that I get asked and I'd like to answer here are, why is it important to take action now? Our children grow up so fast, and we only have a few short years to positively influence them. So why keep wishing and hoping that things could be better when you can start supporting your child now with positive tools and techniques and strategies you can use immediately? Once you know these tools and strategies, they are with you forever. By the time they enter their teen years, their later teen years, we are no longer their number one role model. Their peers become so much more important to them. So what you do right now for your child will set them up for those later teen years. Another question, maybe I will wait and see if they really need this. And the trap I see with parents is the wait and see game. You're wondering if it's just a phase your child is going through, so you just wait it out and hope things don't get worse. I urge you not to play this game of wait and see. If you have any concerns at all about your child, and things temporarily might get better, but very often parents then wake up one day and their child is in the middle of a full-blown crisis. Or you may be a parent who's thinking, well, my child's doing okay, they should be fine. But in the back of your mind, you think there's something more that you could be offering. Then join me on the Masterclass book, have a 20-minute session with me to see how we can work together, and I'll give you that information. We can work it out together. What age is this program for? It's for everyone. I wish I had these techniques when I was a child. And as you can probably see already, that what I offer is not just for children suffering from anxiety. The tools, concepts and techniques are beneficial for everyone. And that's why I include parents in my consultations, because you actually benefit from this as much as your children. And so moving on. And one of the questions, maybe I don't have the money right now. So working with me, if you can see it as an investment in your child's well-being, when you consider all the other items that you buy your children, I believe this is one of those items you know is essential. Don't waste another 6 months or a year trying to figure it out how to best support your child on your own. Get the guidance and support you need now, so both of you can learn the skills and techniques that will stay with you and your child for a lifetime. What better investment can you make than investing in your child? So if you are by a computer, I invite you to go to the page bit.ly/masterclass booking, and you'll be able to book the session with me, a 20-minute session, which will be we can have a chat about what's going on, a brief chat about what's going on for you and your child, and I can offer you the different options of working with me. I really appreciate your time today, and yeah, I'd just like to thank you for being here, and looking forward to chatting with you soon to book in and see me at a time that feels right for you. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions at all, and I will look forward to seeing you and speaking with you on our 20-minute session together. Bye for now.